Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. In this episode, I'm going to do an unboxing of the Endure the Stars 1.5 Returning Crew kit. I already have the game, the core game. I did an unboxing of it a long time ago. And they put out a new version, a 1.5 version, if you will, with a new box to hold it all. So I got the package that has the new box, some 1.5 stuff, a art book, and a box for the Redeemers of Purpose. So basically those came in a white box as well the previous time, and now they actually have a nice box to go with that. So let's just start unboxing these. So let's have a look at what is inside this version 1.5 Kickstarter Crew box. So it's a Kickstarter exclusive item. So I'll just open that up. It's just a plain white box. It's not that important. I probably will not keep the box and try to store this into the main game box. So here we have the geneticist, the geneticist. So that's one new exclusive figure, and here he is. And the detail on this is rather nice. It's pretty good. He has a large gun and two robotic arms on his back, on this backpack over there. And it's pretty cool. Wearing his hoodie. Alright, so that is the Kickstarter exclusive figure we got. And underneath his tray is a spot with some punch boards. So I got one already got loose here. So we have this. We have a colored ring for his base. We have these two dials for his dashboard, his cards, some more of these tokens, and here is his dashboard. So I'll just take that out, toss that box away, and there we go. So I'll put the dials on there, and I'll put that with the rest of the base game. All right. So here's another white box for Endure the Stars 1.5 Returning Crew expansions. So let's see what exactly we get with this box. Right, so there's a whole lot of paperwork here. So we get some new cards, the Olympian attack cards, which is one of the bigger enemy miniatures, the Primus attack, Deafening Roar for the Primus miniature, the Primus boss. Colored clips for their bases, more of those as well. Alright, we get some more of these clips to put on these rotating tracker boards. So we get these. It doesn't say, no, it doesn't say for which enemy they are. We have some cards for the Psychic, the Marine, the Captain here. We have the Scout, the Medic, and the Engineer. And we have more of these dials, double-sided. And then we got these new boards for the characters. So these are for the alternate gender characters. Basically, they're the same roles as you have in the core game. But we also had a alternate gender pack with miniatures, so you could choose between a male or a female medic or marine or whatever. So we got boards for those as well, along with colored clips, etc. So that's pretty cool. Here's the Engineer. Here's the Psychic, the Scout, the Captain, the Technician, and the Technician was new, so we got the female and the male Technician, and they were, I think they were included in the expansion that had all these robots. So here is the Olympian, which is the robot boss, so to speak, with the Technician cards as well. Here's the Primus boss card, which was a separate expansion with his tracking dials as well, and his spawn token. And then we have these dials for the these tokens for the Artemis and the SIP robots, and these dials again, so some extra dials. So that should be everything we needed for those expansions from the first edition of the game to update them to the 1.5 edition. So the first edition of the game had an expansion called Redeemers of Purpose. I believe they were actually stretch goals. So we got them in a white plain box, just like the others you just saw. And well, they turned it later at retail into an actual expansion. So people who got it as a stretch goal did not have the box for it. So the returning crew now could have a actual box for these figures to store them nicely in their own box. So that's a nice touch, and also has some new cards as well. So my box will not have the miniatures, but this is basically exactly the same as the retail box, which will have the miniatures. So let's open it up. Right. So like I said, these are the trays for the Redeemers of Purpose. With a bigger tray here for the boss. So you get a nice vacuum tray for that, along with the updated cards over there, clips for the tracker for the boss, and in the bottom I'll just do that. And this is the preacher, their boss, their leader, and it has the zealot and fanatic tokens here, the spawn tokens, and the preacher with these dials that go onto this card. Alright, I'll put all that together and then get the previous edition and rebox this set. So I put together the preacher's dashboard with these health dials. So right now he's got 10 plus 5 is 15 health. That's how that works. I put all the tokens here in a Ziploc baggie. And the cards, the new cards here, they replace the old ones. They're smaller too, so you've got the attack cards and his mood cards that you can put there and there. And the old ones, just to show you, were a lot bigger. So and they have changed them as well. So this, for example, is Ultimate Glory. This one said +1 die to all attacks, and this one says it has 4 actions, a reaction. If first survivor damages the preacher whilst in his zone, they are stunned. Bonus effect 5+ shield. So it's quite a difference, and all of them have been changed, some more than others. So all of these are now obsolete, basically, and you get these smaller cards in return. So that's actually pretty handy. So I'll just put them back in this little plastic. I'll sleeve them later. So I just put them back in the box. Then I took all the minis and I put them in the tray here. So we have the zealots and the fanatics, and here's the preacher. So they all go in their own trays, and then you have your own new expansion box for the Redeemers of Purpose, and this is what you'll get in the retail edition when you buy the game with miniatures, of course. All right, let's continue with the core box. So the Endure the Stars 1.5 game box for returning crew members, for people who already had the first edition of the game. So basically this is just the box with the inserts and everything, and new players getting this game will of course have all the minis, etc. in here. It's still quite a heavy box, so I'm assuming there's a lot of paperwork in here. On the back you can see the game as it is being played, with miniatures and door standees, player cards, etc. And it's there's a story about the game. The contents are listed here as well. It's a game for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, for half an hour up to 3 hours, by Grimlord Games, of course. So let's open up the box. Alright, so first of all, here's the updated rulebook, the 1.5 rulebook, which is quite thick, as you can see, so that's quite the book to go through. It lists the contents that should be in here, you know, if you're buying a new game. It tells you how to set up the game and the basics of the rules, with lots of pictures to make it nice and clear. So combat advanced rules, increasing the difficulty, as if it isn't already difficult enough. And then there's some missions here, so you got a tutorial mission, and then missions 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. So plenty of missions here, and the rest of the book is all about missions. And then we have the world of Endure the Stars in the back, with a backstory of all the, well, kind of a role of all the characters, and the monsters as well, the enemies you will encounter. And there's a summary here as well, which is handy, and a rules summary on the back. So that's quite an extensive book we have here. So then, of course, you have these trays that are meant to hold your minis. So this is upside down. But here's the first tray for lots of minis. And I'll get my game out, my previous version of the game, and I'll put all the minis where they belong and show you that. So I'll do a reboxing of this box. And here in the bottom we have some new tokens here, some small tokens. We have the character dashboards that need to be punched out, and now they have these very handy dials that you clip onto the back, and you will see your health and your resolve in these notches here. And you have spaces for all your cards there as well. There's a card that goes here as well. So that's pretty cool. That's an updated version. And we have one, of course, for all the characters that are in the game. All right. Then we got some 3D doors here, some door standees. So we have those, and they're double-sided. All right. Then we got some base clips in various colors to put onto your minis. And we have some new dice here, which is also pretty cool. I'll open up this bag. There we go. So two very chunky D12s, which have a few faces only on them. So this, I believe that was the Solomon Mini, if I'm not mistaken. So it has two of these, three of these faces on it. So big chunky die, and this one is kind of like the same, but it has one of these weapons. I think that's a broken weapon, and two with the swirl on it. So don't know exactly what that means, but yeah, two very big new dice to add to the game. We have these stands, plastic stands for the doors and standees. We have these to clip the dials to your player dashboard. Another stand here, a slightly bigger one, I think. And this, more of these clips, all right. So then we got some cards. So there's 2 packs of new cards here to replace the ones in the first first edition of the game. So I got those as well. There's a little box here, but it's empty, so that's just a placeholder to keep everything from sliding around. And then there's new tiles as well, so that's pretty cool. So we got several new tiles, which I will show you. Cool, with these walls and everything, where the doors can be. So that's the first tile. Here's the second one. So that does look rather similar, is it? There are some differences here. I can see some differences in the lighting And the table there, that table is broken. So yeah, there are some differences. Then we got this room here. And on the back we have that. It looks pretty nice, very cool. And now these new tiles, they have icons on them, so you know where to search for certain things, which the first edition of the game did not have. So they kind of, you know, revised and cleared up the map tiles, and that should work better, I guess. So there we have that one. Here's another one with these stasis pods in them, I guess. Another one on the back. With a corridor with a fancy carpet here. Alright, so another one of these rooms. P01 is here, M02, they're all numbered, which is of course handy. If you want to make some a scenario, they'll have those numbers listed. It's pretty cool. These two quads over there, nice. So there's quite a lot of detail on these tiles, and there's plenty of them. So these, with some of these robots there. Here's that corridor again. Of course, now there's blood everywhere. Stuff goes wrong. So another room tile, 801. Lots of these red icons with the gun on it. Right, so we have those. And then underneath that we find some more dashboards. So we have the Titans dashboard, also with two spots for dials. Some more tokens here. And this is the trading post, right? So you get some cars that go here. And there's the infirmary, the quarters, and loved ones. So yeah, the refuge. This is the refuge where some events may happen. And here are cards for the trading post, right? So the rules are on the back, which is handy. Okay, so we have those two, and then we have two more punch boards with new cards. So we have these tile cards for the characters. We have these tokens here, more tokens there. We have these tokens, and I believe in the first edition some of these were misprinted in mirror image, so you could kind of tell which ones the mirrored ones were. So we got new ones for that as well. And here are all the dials and more tokens. I'll turn that around. So you got some fire tokens, these exclamation marks with a number on it. There you go. Right. So I'll punch all of those tokens and I'll put it all together, and then I will rebox it with the 1.0 miniatures to complete this set. Alright, so I've unpacked everything and tried to organize it back into the core game box, which was a challenge because the trays, I'll start with that. This tray here does not fit these miniatures. So I have two different ones. As you can see, one is slightly more bent over, the other one is reared up a bit. So there's two of those from the first Kickstarter, and they're supposed to go in like this. But this version, the rearing up version, won't fit at all. So that's already out of the question, and I have lots of those. So let me just show you. So this is the original box, which was just a brown cardboard box from the core game. So I have a lot of these guys, And I have these Swarmers too, and a couple of these Solomons, the big ones. And I had two of these bosses. I believe one we got extra as a stretch goal. So if I wanted to put all that in here, that's impossible. Because first of all, it won't fit. The arms are spread too wide and it will just pop out. And as you can see, it's, you know, it's sticking out of the tray. So I'm not gonna just push that down because then I'll probably break these thin arms. So that's a bit of a problem. And furthermore, I can only fit, let's see, 12, 13, 14 of those in here. And then the two big guys, well, they fit. I mean, that's this dude and the, I believe this one. No, that's the Get Boss. That's an expansion. Then it should, this one, no, also not that one. No, of course, it's this one, the boss from the core game. So this fits okay. It's still sticking out a tiny bit. This fits well, but these don't fit. Plus, I'll have more of these than fit in the tray at all. So even if they did fit, then I'd still have some left. So the tray itself, sadly, is kind of useless to me, which I find a bit of a shame. I mean, this is obviously the number of minis you're getting in the 1.5 retail version, so the tray is fine for that. But for returning crew, this is useless. So I'm gonna just toss that out already. So what I did is I found some foam that I had, and this is actually a tray that was made for games like Zombicide that had the character dashboards here, some characters over there, and spot for the smaller cards, which just happens to fit this exactly. So I put all the cards from the Preacher and the Olympian, put those in here with these cards from the core game, and this has the Primus boss cards with these. And that all fits nicely, except of course if I sleeve them, then that's again a problem. So I probably won't be sleeving these. This was fortunately big enough to hold these dashboards, and because of the trackers here, I have to put them, you know, up and down, so that will fit a number of these. Let me see, that will fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is an odd number because of the geneticist. The geneticist. So I had some left which fit in here as well. So I have several there. I put those cards in here. So the character tiles basically in there, which just fit next to each other. I even kept the old ones just because I don't know why. Could have tossed them out, but I had room. So I put the dice over there, extra dice from the first Kickstarter as well, the new dice. So then on top of that, I took all of the monster dashboards, so the Preacher, the Primus boss, the Olympian, and the Titan. So I just put them all here. And then I had a second of those trays, which was basically, there were two next to each other that fit into a standard box, you know, like your cardboard felt hair or whatever box. So, and this had also spots for cards. So technically I could sleeve them and then stuff some of them in here as well. But I used those slots for the bigger bosses. So this mechanical armor over here, the Gep boss, and this cybernetic onslaught boss. Then I put a few of these guys in here. It could only fit 6 because I also had the heroes here with the bigger bases. I had the geneticist over here. This is also on a wider base, but I just kind of forced it in there. And 2 of these droids. Because the rest of these guys did fit into this tray over here. So this is a fine tray. This has all the 6 survivors, the characters from the core game, and plenty of room for these and for these. But I still had 3 of those Solomon monsters left and 6 of those. But those 6 can fit in here. But that is, of course, again, a custom solution. So you'll have to find your own, maybe some pick and pluck foam will work, and maybe you could fill out the entire box, and that would be even better. Then I just held on to the old cards from the first game, you know, just because I like the artwork on them, and I don't know, maybe I can use them for something. And then I took this and I just put it on top like that separately. I could probably put it here, might be better. There we go. Then I took the doors, put them there, and I just bagged all of the tokens and I just tossed them in here with the rest. These tokens, there we go, more of those. And I just tossed them all in like that. The bases, which is also a shame. The bases I wanted to clip on to the heroes, but if you do, they don't fit into that plastic tray anymore, which is an oversight. That is something that's inexcusable. That should have just fit on those, and then you should have been able to just put that into these trays with the bases on, but they don't fit. So yeah, not ideal. Then I just put this on top of that, so that can go underneath this tray, because there's room for that. And then all of that will fit nicely and flush within this new big box. So that is the 1.5 box reboxed, but that would still leave me with lots of other models and stuff and the tiles. So let me just put this to the side for now, and let me show you the tiles first. Something I would like to show you first is the comparison between the old and the new tiles, because I think that's pretty cool how they updated the artwork. So as you can see, this is the same tile here. So they added these icons, and there's a lot more detail in here. As you can see, I'll bring them up closer a bit just so you can see. The corridors have more detailed tiles, metal grating on the floor, and the walls and everything in the rooms is more detailed. So that's this tile, and on the back is this the greenery. And as you can see, there's a lot more detail. These are plants. This is just some, you know, you can tell that they're plants, but it's like this was drawn for a much smaller tile somehow, because there's a lot less detail. And here there's just a whole lot of detail. So that's pretty cool. I'll just flip through these real quick. So here's another one of these rooms. It's basically the same as the previous one. And here is the recreation room. So that's nice. Then we got this, I think it's medical bay. It's M01, I think the letters stand for what the room is supposed to be. And then on the back, again, R, so for recreation, the gym and the court. So yeah, those. Then we have another one of these medical bays. And this, the P01, I don't know what that is. This was just one big room. And now it's, well, still a big room with a wall in between. And it just looks a lot better. Then we have the C01, which I believe is like a cantina or something, because there's a diner there, I think, and you can sit there. So I'm not entirely sure. And then on the back, this purple room. And I really love how, you know, how much more detailed the new tiles are. So then here's another one of those cantinas. And on the back, the RS01. Don't know what that is. And here is the L01. And on the back, it's the P02. Second, you know, large room in the middle of the corridor. And here is another, the L02. The lab, probably. And then on the back, the S02. Another one of those purple rooms. Security, I guess, with all the lasers going on. Then we got the N01 navigation, I would say. Also, much more detail. And on the back, we have E01, which has these cars. So the exit, I don't know, with the shaft there. Pretty cool. The second navigation room. And another one of these greeneries. LS, what would that stand for? If you know, tell me in the comments. Here's the RB for, I think, robotics bay or something. Because they have these droids there. And on the other side, there's the RSO2. And then finally, the second robotics bay. And on the back, we have the other exit with the cars again. So yeah, that's quite a bit of an upgrade of tiles. And what I did is I had the old box still, the previous box, which is a bit smaller than the new one. And I took some foam that I had, that I basically plucked out of the foam trays that you saw earlier. And I made a spot for these tiles to sit. So that fits nicely. I had these spare clip-on bases from the first game that I just put to the side here, and a few spare bases for standees, and a few of these clips for the trackers. I just put them all in here. So then I took that old cardboard box and I just put all the rest of the miniatures in here. So the two bosses here, these three Solomons that I had left, these, all of these, and the swarmers, because I don't know where these should have been put in the core game. Probably in the smaller white box that was in the back of the tiles. But yeah, that's not an ideal solution. Neither is this, but I might try to find some foam to fit this as well, because right now I can fit this into the box and I still have some room left. So if I manage to find a foam tray that will fill the entire box and hold all of these, then that would be ideal. So I have this box filled with the extra miniatures and the tiles. So there we go, that's two boxes of Endure the Stars. But that still left me with the Redeemers of Purpose, which do have their own box. But I also had the Cybernetic Onslaught, and I did keep the box, so I do have this box left, and also the alternate gender models, but I put those in the core boxes, as you just saw, so I didn't need that box anymore. But this one and the Redeemers of Purpose, I would still need to fill, but I threw out the plastic insert of this box. So that's a bit of a problem. So what I did is I just took this box and I put some foam in there. This is pick and pluck foam, hoping to be able to put in all the extra models, which I have currently put in another one of these trays. So if half of this tray, which I can just pluck apart, would fit in this box, then the problem would have been solved, but it doesn't. It doesn't fit in the width nor in the length, and that would still leave me with extra minis that I couldn't fit in here. So I'm hoping, well, this technically, if I pluck this out and I pluck out 2x3 spaces, I could fit 3 on top of each other and 6 next to each other, which is 18 minis. And this is more than 18, as you can see. So I still have some minis left, but I'll try to figure something out, and then I can put this on top of that. So fortunately, those boxes are the same size. And then I can just keep all of those in this box, and I'll have 3 boxes of Endure the Stars to put it all in. But sadly, that's not ideal. I could possibly use this as well, but I don't know. I'll keep this for now, and then I'll figure something out. I had hoped to be able to fit everything into those 2 boxes, or maybe, you know, an extra one, but yeah, it just doesn't fit. So that's the reboxing, the less than ideal but still reboxing of Endure the Stars. And finally, the last thing I wanted to show you is the book, the Endure the Stars art book, that also has a couple of extra missions. So let me just open that up. There we go. So Endure the Stars with a nice spot UV on the front. The rest is entirely black with a bit of text on the back. So let's see what's inside. So there's some artwork here of the cover of the game. And there is the engineer, the female engineer, a couple of pre-designs there. Then we have the captain and the psychic. The marine, there's some fluff text there. The medic, the engineer, nice with the early concepts as well. There's the marine again. The technician, female version. Here's the male medic. The male psychic, I believe, because the other one, I was kind of doubting if that was a male or a female, because the other psychic definitely is the female version. So this should have been the male version, but I don't know. Kind of in between. There is the scout, the male technician, android, whatever it is, the female captain, the geneticist, and the female scout. Here's the exoloader suit. That is very awesome. And here are the monsters. So we got the swarmers, the Jaegers, the Solomon, the Icarus, the Primus boss, the Titan boss, and then the Zealots, and the Fanatics of the Redeemers of Purpose, and their Preacher boss. It's also pretty cool. The Sip Sentry and the Artemis droids, and the Olympian boss, the droid boss. And then there's 6 missions with enemy survivors. Ooh, so different gameplay. So we have several missions here in this book. That's also pretty nice. And that's it. So we got artwork of everything, all the creatures, all the characters, and 6 extra missions in this book. That is all. And so that was my unboxing of Endure the Stars 1.5 by Grimlord Games. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.